Oh my God. That reminds me. Link, you have an amazing story about a room you were in one time where they were asking you to go through and every guy was like listing off his height.
Yeah.
Please share that with the listeners. It's one of my favorite all-time Hollywood stories.
Okay, so this was back in the old school doing a commercial audition where they'd bring in like five of you at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all lined up next to each other and they wanted our height and weight. And everybody kind of hedges the bets a little bit on height. Even if you're like 6'5", you're like, I'm 6'6". And so
Jordan, how tall are you?
6'4" and some change.
that's cheating, man. That's messed up. and so I'm standing there, and so they asked me my height, and I'm like, and I hedge it a little bit. I say I'm 5'11", and I'm not 5'11".
Wow.
And the dude next to me is, I promise you, if you can see where my hand is, the top of his head was at the bottom of my jaw. And my man, after I said 5'11", and I was stretching, he goes, 6'2". And I looked down at him, and I went, and I raised my hand up. I said, can I change mine real quick? Casting director stuck their head out from around the camera, was like, the what? It's like, dude, how can you're a foot shorter than my man who just said he was, how are you, wait, what?
He had that what do they call it? BDE, that big energy, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Oh,
I'm 6'2".
Sure.
Dude, and literally didn't even go like, yeah, he went full 6'2".
Dude, people say that kind of shit with confidence. Like,
Yeah.
How?
Hey, that'd be like me standing next to you going, I'm 6'5".
Oh, man, bro.
I tell you what, I am like basically exactly like 6 foot tall. Like in the morning, I might be like
Basically, exactly.
What like I'm not 6 foot and a half an inch, or I'm not like 5'11" and 3/4. I'm like right at 6 foot. You know, like not maybe in the mornings I'm 6 foot and an eighth of an inch. You know, because your spine's stretched up from sleeping. But I'm like right at 6 foot. But I've had so many people tell me, like, no, you're taller than that. You gotta be like what, 6'1", 6'2"? And I just think it's because so many people fudge about their height. And it's like, especially if you're 5'10", you can get away with saying you're 6 foot, especially in this town.
For sure. For sure.
Hey, I just got measured for some insurance, and I was right under 5'10" and a quarter, like legit barefoot, like NFL style, right? And so when I'm standing next to somebody, JB, like you, I'm like, oh, no, man, you're like 6'3", bro. You're 6'3". You're 6'3". I'll pump them up. So it gets me those couple bonus inches so I can hedge, man.
Right.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. One of the first auditions I ever went to when I moved to Los Angeles. So like Disney would hold these open calls at Debbie Reynolds Studios. They tore it down to build some condos in North Hollywood now. But what they would do is all their, like, they call them face characters, so like Prince Charming, Gaston, like any of the ones that don't have basically like not wearing a Mickey head or something like that. They measure, because they have a very exacting like range where the height can fall through. And the one I was auditioning for was like 6 foot to 6'2". And the first thing I got there after I signed up is they had somebody come over and they measured me on this like specific thing. It wasn't like a tape measure on a wall. It was like they had a platform on which you could stand, and then like the pole went behind, so it was like exactly measuring you. And so I measured right at 6 foot for that. And then we went and did the first portion of the audition, and I made the first cut. And right after lunch, they had a second person measure me to make sure that like the first person wasn't off or fudging, or it's not like, hey, this is my boy doing the auditions and they lied about me by a half an inch. So
what?
Yeah, that was like a crazy thing to me. I'm like, wow, they are really serious about this height over here at Walt Disney World Cruise Lines.
Plus.
That's like stats on the football team, though. It's like, oh, yeah, no, I'm 6'3", 295, solid muscle. And you're like, you're 6 foot, like 205. Like,
Dude, we had a quarterback in high school that was 5'9", and on our posters, because like each team around the city would get the poster and like, oh, this is the dude you're guarding, or this is the dude you got to cover. Our quarterback was maybe 5'9", 5'8", but on the program he was 6 foot, and it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
no way in the world,
In his
no way in
biggest
the world.
cleats.
Yeah.
Not even.
Hell
Yeah.
no.
That is good.